Ah, the power chord. When all else fails, we have that comfortable, perfect fifth interval to fall back on. But doesn't it ever get kind of boring after a while? I think we tend to favor this efficient two-note combination because it can lend itself to major or minor chords without allowing us to commit to the deciding third interval. While this lends itself to a lot of versatility and consonance, I think these qualities may cause the power chord to feel stale and predictable after a while. Plus, it can cause us to feel bored and stuck. Fortunately, there's quite a lot we can do about that. Today I'm going to share with you some of the best power chord alternatives that will add a lot of intriguing flavor to enhance your playing. These variations are simple, powerful, and can complement heavier styles of music quite nicely. So stay tuned because I'll be giving away a super sweet bonus that'll help these intervals sound extra massive. So grab your axe, take a seat, and let's get ready to rock. So if you're following along with me, which I hope you are, and you've got your guitar, I'll be hovering around the third position. So all of these variations I'll be showing you will be occurring starting at the third fret of the low E string. And just so you know, if you're wondering, I am tuned to E standard tuning for this. Yes, it can sound heavy even though we're in E standard. So I'm assuming you're already familiar with the traditional power chord structure where we've got the root, of course, and then we've got that fifth interval. Of course, that would be on fret 5 of the A string, and our root is on fret 3 of the low E string. And if we want to add an octave to that, we can simply just play it on fret 5 of the D string. But what we can do to make this sound way heavier if the situation demands is simply invert the fifth. And it gets kind of tricky with this because a lot of things in music kind of have two different ways of being viewed. Like in this case, this interval I'm going to show you. So if we're inverting the fifth, all we do is lift up on our ring finger, if that's how you're playing it. So we lift off on the fifth and we bar fret 3. Okay, so we've got fret 3 of the A string and the low E string. And if we want to have the octave, of course, we have that on fret 5 of the D string. So what I meant by this, when there's two different ways of looking at it, it all depends on which note in this combination is considered to be the root, okay? So it can either be fret 3 of the low E string, like with our regular perfect fifth power chord, in which case that's actually a perfect fourth interval. So if we wanted to look at this as an inverted fifth, the root would actually be this C note here on the A string on the third fret. So what determines this is your bass playing friend. If your bassist friend is playing a G note, then it's likely a perfect fourth interval. But if your bass playing friend is playing a C note, that's probably an inverted fifth right there. So let's take a listen to this in context. I hope you've got some good speakers or headphones so you can really note how this stands out. But this will help us decide how to look at this. And it all comes down to our bassist. We're going to start with the perfect fourth, and then I'm going to play the inverted fifth, each in their respective context. So either way you look at this, being the perfect fourth or the inverted fifth, of course, depending on the context, this interval can sound super massively heavy, especially with the help of your bassist and your drummer friends. And so at this point, I want to throw in a super sweet bonus that'll help you out big time if you're looking to optimize the sounds you're getting from your amplifier. And it's my Elite Tones cheat sheet, and it's a completely free tool that'll help you dial in custom amp tones to your liking. It also includes some direct links to some of my favorite free amp sim plugins, so you'll automatically get a ton of new sounds to play with right away. It even contains some hacks that'll show you how to make those digital amp simulators sound like authentic physical amplifiers. I put the link for this free resource in the description, and you can also download it at zacksharguitar.com. So our next power chord variation is our tritone. And with a tritone, we'll be using our perfect fifth, our regular power chord, as a reference point here. And all we do is take that fifth interval and we're gonna just drop it down a half step. So if you're with me in the same position here, of course, I've got my root note on the third fret of the low E string. And here we've got fret 4 of the A string as our deciding note for what this interval is. And if we want to add the octave of the root here, all we have to do is add the 5th fret of the D string. And this interval can sound particularly tense, jarring, and dissonant. So let's take a listen to what this can sound like in an arrangement. Last but not least, we have a fun little power chord variation that I like to bust out every now and again, and that is the augmented power chord. And so with the augmented power chord, what we're doing is we're going the opposite direction. So we had our tritone, we went down a half step with that 5th interval. In this case, we're going to go up a half step. So if you're still with me here, we're maintaining that same position with G on fret 3 of the low E string as our root. And all we're doing from there is playing fret 6 of the A string. And like always, if you want to add the octave of the root, we're just going to play the 5th fret of the D string here. And the two main notes in this power chord variation, the gap or the distance, technically the interval between them, is a minor 6th interval. And that is often described as sounding sad, more on the somber side. And I think it really sounds kind of mysterious sounding because that higher note, you kind of want to hear it pull down a half step to make it a perfect 5th when you're hearing it against the root. And because of that, like I said, that's why I think it sounds pretty mysterious. But this power chord variation, just like all the other ones, can be used to make some seriously heavy riffage. So in addition to that classic perfect 5th interval that us metal and rock players adore so much, we can now take it in several other directions depending on what type of sound we are trying to achieve. So if you're looking for a super crushing heavy interval, then the perfect 4th/inverted 5th interval is definitely the way to go. If you're looking for something tense, jarring, and even a little spooky, consider using that tritone. And what if you want something kind of somber or mysterious sounding? Well, the augmented power chord will surely hit the spot. And next time you find that you're about to use a traditional perfect fifth power chord, consider using one of these other bad boys instead. And if you want to make sure that you're sounding as good as can be, don't forget to download my free Elite Tones cheat sheet if you have not done so already. It gives you some of my best tips on how to dial in killer amp tones, and it also includes direct links to some of my favorite free amp sims. It even shows you how to make some of those digital amp simulators sound like authentic physical amplifiers. So just click the link in the description or go to zachsharguitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach with Zach Shar Guitar. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.